What is going on, guys? It is your boy Tropical NHL back here today for a brand new YouTube video. So today we're gonna talk about something I've seen talked about by a couple of insiders on Twitter, on a mysterious player probably joining the Canadiens at the beginning of the season. So yeah, since the Montreal Canadiens finished last year, they are going to be first on the waivers list. So every time that a player is going to be put on waivers, they're going to be the first team that decides if they take him or not. So by that, they have the option all the time for every players that are going to be on waivers, and that is going to be like that until the end of November. So yeah, there's a lot of teams in the NHL that have too many NHL players that are probably going to be sent in the AHL. And when that happens, they need to put them on waivers first. So there are probably going to be a lot of decent NHL players that are going to be put on waivers from now to the beginning of the season. So it's going to be really interesting seeing how the Montreal Canadiens are going to look at that situation. Maybe they're going to claim some players because they have some holes on defense. And the only player so far that really shows that he is really NHL ready on the defense is Kaiden Guhle. So there are still some spots available. I think for me, right now, it's best if Jordan Harris, Justin Barron, Arbor Jakai, and all those guys go to the Laval Rocket and Kaiden Guhle stays in the NHL. That would be the best case scenario, in my opinion. So that means that the Canadiens need to add an extra defenseman, and that extra defenseman needs to be a right-handed defenseman. They've been trying to acquire one from trade all summer long, but they weren't able to do so because they don't want to give out players for free that can increase their value during the season, like Christian Dvorak, for example, that isn't worth really much right now, but will probably be worth much more at the trade deadline, since in my opinion, he's going to have a better season. Every Habs player are going to have a better season than they had last year, so most of them would get their value up. So that's probably the reason why Kent Hughes doesn't want to make a trade now. So yeah, if a team's put a defenseman that is that can fit the Canadiens and help them fix the holes on defense, I'm 100% sure that the Canadiens won't hesitate to claim. There are going to be some really decent players to be put on waivers, probably some young guys that are not ready enough to find themselves a spot on the top pairing of teams that are going to contend for a Stanley Cup. A bit like Rem Pitlick last season. He was good with the Minnesota Wild, but the Minnesota Wild were so deep and they had such a good season that they had no choice to send him and take the risk to the AHL. And then the Canadiens claimed the guy. So there are probably going to be more situations like that at the beginning of the season. And since that the Canadiens are first on the waivers list to claim players, if there's a good player, they will have the choice to take him or not. So if there's a good defenseman that is going to be put on waivers, I'm 110% sure that the Montreal Canadiens will claim him. So expect a new player at the beginning of the season coming from waivers. We just don't know who it's gonna be yet, so that's why mysterious player is gonna join the Canadiens. Some quite interesting. It's a quite interesting subject in my opinion, because like it's not something we saw much in Montreal over the last couple of decades, since we never really made a rebuild. And I think there's no point putting defensemen on a situation where they're going to make a lot of mistakes and lose their confidence only because there are too many holes. I think that Kaiden Guhle is 100% ready, but the other guys, I would send them in Laval. It's From what I saw so far, things could change because there's still a lot of preseason hockey to be played. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. If you guys have any examples of players that could end up on waivers before the season starts, let me know in the comments below. It's been your boy Tropical in the channel, and I'll see y'all later for another video. Bye bye.